I think one of the biggest challenges to being a stay-at-home, homeschooling, part-time working from home mom is keeping up with all of the mess that happens. Trying to stay on top of the household chores and feel like I have my act together. It's not easy to do. But my husband and I came up with a solution that has helped us tremendously that I'm going to share with you today. Hi, my name is Erin. I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids, ages 6 to 14. We have homeschooled from the very beginning. I've essentially been a stay-at-home mom now for 15 years. And the thing with being home with your kids all the time is that they're home all the time. Which means they're making messes all of the time. They're eating, there's always food messes to clean up, there's spills that happen, there's toys that are brought out, books that are left out, schoolwork strewn about. There have been many, many times that I have struggled with frustration and anger over the sheer magnitude of the mess that is being created. So today I'm going to share with you how our family tackles chores, how we came up with a solution, something that works for us, so that not all of that is on my shoulders, and allowed them the opportunity to learn some responsibility and some life skills by taking over some of the chores in our house. I will also share with you what our kids do on a normal daily basis for their chores. After years of just feeling really stressed out and overwhelmed that there was so much work to be done, we decided to sit down maybe 6 months ago and make a list of all of the things that we do in a given day. Everything that needs to be done from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed, all of the jobs. And we listed all of those out, and then we put little stars by the things that we just do because that's something as parents that we are responsible for. And then that left a list then of all of these things that we were like, oh my goodness, how many of these things can we hand off to our children? So then we had this list of jobs that some of them were things that our kids were already doing, already responsible for in their own just normal daily chore basis. But there were a few things that we were able to take off of my shoulders and transition those to the kids. So once we had that list of things that were going to be jobs that the kids needed to do, we then sat down and we had a family meeting with them and talked through how we needed to come together a little bit more as a team and work together to get all of the things done so mom wasn't going to be so stressed out all of the time because there's just always a mess everywhere. We had the kids help come up with a solution as far as who was going to do which jobs. We tried to help balance them out a little bit so it wasn't too heavy on any one child's shoulders. And then there were some jobs in particular that were too difficult for our 6-year-old that we were able to just kind of automatically assign her some of the easier jobs so that the harder ones could be done by the boys. And one key component to this, we have always historically had at 4:30, we have what we call afternoon tidy. And at that point in time, it's all hands on deck, cleaning up any mess that has been out from the day. This, for a long time, always seemed to end in a lot of arguing about who left what out, and that's not my job, I didn't leave that out. Someone else made that mess, all that kind of stuff. So we established what we call areas of responsibility. At that afternoon tidy time, all of our kids kind of run through the common areas of the home and pick up anything that they know for sure was something that they had out or left out during the day, and they put that away. And then they all have a room that is their area of responsibility that they are in charge of making sure everything else is clean and tidy and picked up what I call company ready, so that if someone were to walk in the door at dinner time, the house is totally picked up. May not be spotless and like wiped clean, but there's nothing left laying out. And then they are required to have us check off on their area to say that, yep, you're done, you got everything done. Something I've heard lots of people talk about, that we need to inspect what we expect. And so if they are expected to clean up to a certain level, we need to check and make sure that they are doing it. And if they haven't, then point those things out that they need to pick up in order to get it done. It is so nice to end the day, let me tell you, with looking around and not seeing a mess and piles of things everywhere. Life-changing. Like, seriously, it makes such a difference in my mental state to have a neat and tidy home, at least at the end of the day. We have been going with that for the last handful of months, and it has been working so well. They have always had like normal daily chores that they had to do each day, but there were often times when they weren't just automatically doing it. So I was feeling like I was having to nag them all the time or remind them all the time to get their job done. So we started trying to be more diligent in holding them accountable for the jobs that they already knew were assigned to them. And by having jobs assigned to specific children, we were then no longer having to go, oh, who was supposed to do this today? Or whose job was that? Or why didn't you guys do this? We knew right away, because the jobs were identified, who was supposed to be doing what. If something wasn't done, it was this child's responsibility, so they need to be held accountable for not doing their job when they were expected to do it. We have never paid our children to do chores in our family. They are just expected to do work in the house to help the family out because they're part of the family, and that's just something that families do. And again, on this note, we are not huge about rewarding our children for responsibilities that they are expected to do. I don't feel like that's real life. In real life, you don't get a prize for doing what you're just expected to do. However, there are consequences if you don't do what you are expected to do. And so that has been what has been really helpful for us as a family, to hold them accountable for the jobs that they were supposed to do. If they don't do those things, there are consequences that then happen. In our family, a lot of times the consequences, they either have privileges removed from them, like no game time on the next time that it's a game day for them, or maybe they have to go to bed early, or the one we use the most often is running. And we have a very long driveway. We have kind of marked out a route for them, or they do laps around the house, but they have to run what we call a there and back, out to the end of the road and back, because it's quite a lengthy driveway that we're down, which is great. Sometimes it's more than one, depending on the consequence. That being said, we do like to reward them for jobs well done. So if they go above and beyond the expectations, then we can surprise them sometimes with a soda at dinner, or maybe ice cream after dinner, or they get to stay up late or something like that. Let's talk about the chores that my kids do on a normal daily basis. Our 6-year-old, in the morning, she is responsible for feeding our dogs and unloading the clean dishes out of the dishwasher. And then our daughter also helps by clearing the table after dinner and wiping that down with a cloth. She also feeds the dogs dinner again, and if there's another load of dishes that needed to be unloaded, she does that. So that's her main responsibility. One of our boys, his job is to do the dirty dishes every day, which is normally twice a day, has to load the dishwasher. And then he is responsible also for wiping down the counters and cleaning up any big messes in their bathroom. A lot of times there's toothpaste that gets spilled or other messes that happen in the bathroom, if you know what I mean. So his job is to clean up that stuff. I think those are his big ones, because those are kind of big ones and messy ones. And then our other son, his job is to take care of the chickens. So every day he goes out and makes sure that they have fresh straw in their nesting boxes. In the evenings, he puts up boards in front of the nesting boxes so they can't sleep in them, locks the chicken tractor up for the night, takes care of their feed. He makes sure that their feed bucket is all the way full. If that's empty, he has to go get a feed bag out of our shop and refill that. His other responsibility in the evenings is to go through and either sweep or vacuum if there is a messy floor in the living room or the kitchen dining room area. He also has been the one that's been hauling firewood and keeping our firewood loaded during the winter time, but he gets paid for that one. That is an extra above and beyond one that we do pay him for. And then our other son is responsible for checking and getting eggs a couple times a day, bringing out food scraps to the chickens. One of his jobs is also to take out the trash anytime that it's full. And then he also feeds our cats, makes sure they have water outside, and he cleans out our dog run area every evening. And then a lot of times he'll help his brother with the chickens as well in the evening. And then each month, each of our boys rotate the jobs that they have so they're not stuck with the same job all year round. I think those are all of their normal everyday chores. They also have once a week, 2 of the boys will clean their bathroom because I'm not touching that. It's their bathroom, they can clean it up. We use Norwex, which is microfiber, so you're just using water and microfiber to clean, so it's safe and healthy and it's actually effective. So they are able to clean the bathrooms and have been cleaning the bathrooms since my kids were probably like 4 or 5 years old. They've been working on cleaning the bathrooms and washing the windows, at least to the levels that they can reach. And then I go over and redo it. They have always helped with mopping. Again, I have a Norwex mop that works great. Not trying to sell Norwex. That's just what we use because it's good. And it's healthy and easy to use. And then on the weekends, they normally have some extra outdoor chores that they do. My husband always has some kind of job for them to do, weeding, chopping firewood, hauling wood, picking up our pruned branches from the orchard and burning them, making sure our chickens have fresh wood chips in their deep bedding during the wintertime. In the summertime, it's helping move them to fresh grass, those kind of things. There's always some kind of job that's normally kind of a half of a day job that the kids do on one of the days over the weekend. And then while the boys are doing their outside chores, our daughter normally stays inside with me and she helps either mop or sweep or wash windows. She helps with laundry, that kind of thing. It's definitely not something that our kids are like excited about doing. I don't know who's excited about doing chores, but after we have put all of these in place and they all know what their responsibilities are, I have found that there is a lot less fighting and arguing about who's supposed to be doing what. So it has brought another level of like peace and stability, I feel like, to our home that has been tremendously valuable. As I am editing this, I wanted to make sure to say that I am in no way trying to say that you are a bad parent if you haven't done a whole lot of chores in your family up to this point. This is truly a video, hopefully to encourage you that oftentimes I think our kids are capable of more than we expect them to be able to do. And I'm hoping that this video will really just give you some ideas of things that you can try to implement into your own family to take some of that pressure off of yourself. And if you are a parent of only really young children, I hope this gives you some ideas of things to start off with as your kids become old enough to help more around the house. There are a lot of habits that you can put into place, even with really young children, to help them learn this as they grow up so it's not so hard to transition to when they get a little bit older. Obviously, if you only have young children, this is something that you can teach them to in some level, but it's still going to require a lot more hands-on effort on your part. I encourage you, do something like we did and make a list of all the things that need to be done in a given day and see off of that list. Sometimes even breaking them down into smaller increments can be helpful, but see off of that list what some of the things are that you can pass off to your children and teach them now. And if you haven't required a lot of chores of them up until this point, maybe start small and just add one thing that each of them can do and then work on that for a while, teach them how to do it really well, then add another item until you get to where they have taken over that list of responsibilities that are things that they are actually physically capable of doing. If you have something that you have done in your home that has really helped take some of that pressure off of yourself, or a process that you've implemented that has been really beneficial for your family, will you drop that in the comments below? If you need some more tips about ways to help kind of manage your home, your day, that kind of thing, make sure you check on this video right here. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up button below. It really helps this channel out. I appreciate you doing that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.